What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video guys, me going over the Queen Elizabeth on the deer, guys. So we're gonna be showcasing her on the deer without actually running Jormungandr either, guys. So for the actual setup that we were running on the video here, we are running Queen Elizabeth, red Sariel, green Elat, and then also blue Margaret. You don't necessarily need LR, guys, if you're going to be running this team variant, but I will say that this is more of just a showcase and not necessarily a guide. If you guys are looking for guides on the bird, I have a ton of videos already covering how to like clear the fight and a bunch of different teams you can use. So don't take this video as a guide necessarily. This is mainly going to be a showcase just like the bird was, and you know, when I actually upload School and Hottie as well, it's going to be the exact same thing. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the idea. But we were running attack crit damage on Elizabeth, we were running HP defense on Sariel, which we probably could run attack, honestly. After doing the run in and my testing on it, I think attack crit damage would have been a little bit better. Triple defense Elat as per usual, and then we do have HP defense Margaret. For the links, guys, you guys get the idea. It's just, you know, your standard attack links and all that. For the actual artifact card set, we are running the exact same one as well, the attack related stat card set, because that's going to increase attack related stats by 15% when all allies in the demonic beast battle are of the same race, which is obviously a really big bonus considering we are full goddess team here. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the setup right there, guys. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to like and subscribe, and we're gonna hop in here. I'm gonna show you guys the exact you know, run that we actually did here to clear all 3 floors of the deer. All right, guys, so we have the clip here that actually did the run on the deer. So I have to like go, I think the start of the video is like fine, but I think once we get to floor 3, I have to go around like here on the actual clip, because I did actually take an L on one of the runs that I did. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, the thing is with that is that the deer at the very end can become a little bit annoying, right? Because of the way the color cycling works, because of the way this team doesn't have too many like attacking cards as well. Because you have to, you know, manage your attacking cards, considering you need a color cycle, you know, you need to do the red, green, blue. So, you know, without that, it was a little bit more difficult, because I had to, like, you know, hold on to Elat cards or hold on to Margaret cards, right? So that was definitely something to take into account. But yeah, loading into the deer here, guys. Let's see what this team is able to do. So off the rip, I'm like, okay, let's start wasting Liz's cards, because, you know, Liz is obviously the main damage dealer on the team, but she's also the character that I want the least amount of cards with, because this is the deer. We need to be color cycling, right? Whenever we're on phases 2 and 4, we want to be using the red, green, and blue cards, and not necessarily Liz's cards, because they're not going to be doing, you know, what we want to actually clear the fight. Right, so we're kind of just like wasting them early on and dealing damage just using her cards just to like clear the phases, and then moving into the color cycling phases, we do our color cycle and then follow up with the damage with Elizabeth, and that's going to be able to deal a lot of damage. So right here, as you guys see, we actually do the color cycle here. So we do blue, red, green. And then after we do the green card, we follow up with the rank 2 Elizabeth, because we get the attack related up and we have the full goddess wrath. And you guys will see here how much damage Elizabeth's able to do, and it is a very, very good chunk of damage here, guys. So when we actually go into here, you'll see that when we do the single target right here, we're gonna do bop, and we just one bang for a 1.2 million attack stat, or damage, right? Which is really insane. So very, very good stuff from Elizabeth right there. Moving into the phase 3 right here, I'm kind of just like ready to waste cards, right? Nothing too crazy here in terms of the setup, but we're just trying to waste our cards. So I'm like, okay, let's do a little bit of damage with Liz. I'm like, okay, let's waste the Margaret card. And then we could also just, you know, do the buff card with Margaret there instead, just to make sure we get that off, because we're not actually going to finish off the fight here with the damage we're able to deal, right? We're unfortunately not going to be able to do it. So I was like, okay, let's just start ripping our cards, because this phase of the deer, he has damage cap for only 25% of his HP. So if you want to kill him, you need to do, what is it? There are four damage caps to actually kill him. And he will Lysial off the following turn. So right here, he's going to actually do that. But yeah, I mean, moving into the last phase here, where, you know, we don't actually have any Sariel cards, is a little bit sketchy. Because, like, if I didn't get any Sariel cards there, I would have probably lost. But I think I do top deck. And even if I don't, you know, like, the damage that we deal with the team regardless was going to be really good anyway. But yeah, right here, I noticed that I was like, okay, we have to use one of the Margaret cards, because we were not going to top deck a blue, which would kind of mess us up. So I merged Elat right there. I actually would have top decked the ultimate, so I didn't actually need to hold on to that card, actually, now that I think about it. But I mean, regardless, we wanted to just like clear our hand a little bit, right? So I ripped the ultimate with Liz. Boom, it does the damage we need to, and then we actually move into the next phase here, guys, which is the final phase. And right here we do actually top deck a Sariel card, which is very lucky. And then after we do the color cycle here, we can actually finish off the fight. So we do the standard color cycle, and then we go for the attack card with Margaret right there, which is gonna finish off this phase of the deer. So very, very easy. You know, we didn't need Jormungandr for any of this stuff right here, guys. Like, we're actually doing very good without her, surprisingly. I mean, you know, considering we were able to deal as much as we did, and you know, the damage and the team tankiness, like, we're all like pretty much full HP here going into the next floor. So very, very good stuff right there. That is the floor 1 of the deer. Now moving into the floor 2 here. Okay, let me slow it down a little bit. Moving into the floor 2 here, we wanted to kind of do the exact same idea here, right? But when going through this, we had to be a little bit more cautious, because the thing is, moving into that second phase, we have to make sure that we get frozen every other turn, or we're actually gonna die. So my idea was like, okay, we'll do the color cycle the first turn, and then the second turn, I'm gonna make sure I do a bunch of attacks with Elizabeth just to make sure she gets frozen. And as long as we don't cleanse her and the deer goes for his AoE, we should be completely fine. Right, so I didn't have too many issues there. Right here, he actually goes for the single target right there on Elat, guys, and then he follows up with the AoE. It's not going to do a lot of damage, and because Elat has Tarmiel Link, it's going to be really nice to just, you know, keep her alive and, you know, keep her health sustained as much as possible, right? So right here, I'm like, okay, let's just kind of waste our cards here with Liz. As I mentioned, right, we're always trying to waste Liz cards, guys, because she is the light attribute character on the team. She's the one that, you know, is kind of has the most flexible cards of any character on the team, because we don't want to have too many light cards when we're, you know, trying to color cycle. So I waste that card right there, and then follow up single target, and boom, we actually do kill the deer, and we move into the next phase here, which is where I mentioned that we have to kind of, you know, make sure we get frozen with Elizabeth, because she can attack off color, which is going to be very, very important. So right here, we do have one of each color for the cards. So we do green, blue, red. And then with doing green, blue, red, we can actually attack with either Elizabeth or with, you know, another character. Like, I think what I do here is I just go for the cleanse. Yeah, I just go for the buff right there, because I was like, okay, let's just kind of clear out our hand here. But we don't want to get frozen yet. We want to get frozen next turn, when the deer actually is going to go for that AoE that, you know, forces us, you know, to die if we don't have that, don't have, you know, the freeze, right? That's like the main idea. So yeah, right here, guys, we do actually tank the AoE right here from the deer. So he's just going to do his thing right there, and then he goes for the single target. But yeah, that is why we run triple defense Elat, because he will target Elat, because she is the lowest HP. Regardless of every other character on the team here, even though the deer is type advantage towards Margaret, there's no type advantage on the deer or any of the other demonic beasts. Like, actually though, there's like you can be this typing, but you're not actually like type effective against the actual type you are, right? When facing these demonic beast battles, that's something you want to take into account. So even though Elat is a green attribute and he's green as well, she still acts as the lowest HP character, and so she's going to be the character that gets targeted. And then right here, as you guys see, we do the AoE freeze with Elizabeth. We go for the heal right there, and actually heals up everybody back to full. And because we are frozen right here, when the deer goes for the AoE, is actually not going to do any damage, because we made sure to get frozen on this second turn. Very good stuff right here, man. So yeah, we do take the single target right there on Elizabeth, and she still has her Goddess of Wraths, which is really good, because that means her single target is going to do a lot of damage. We can finish off, and then we can move into the next phase. So right here, I was like, okay, let's get the Elat ultimate up. Let's do the buff card with Margaret, and then we'll actually just finish off with the single target Liz, and just kind of move into the next phase doing that, right? Because we didn't really need to rip the ultimate there, and I was going to hold on to it for the next phase, because we could start building up the Goddess Wrath stacks again. So right there, I waste the Sariel card just to build a Holy Relic stack with him. Go for the single target with Liz. Boom. Bop. And we actually do take him out right there. Now, moving into the phase 3 here, guys, this is where you want to be dealing a lot of damage, but you don't necessarily have to, like, breeze through this phase. I was like, okay, let's just see how much damage I can do with Liz and just see how strong she can be if I just, like, brute force attack with only her. And right here, we're actually doing really good. Right, we dropped the ultimate 296. Even with a lower dupe Liz, I feel like that's still, like, attainable to hit a damage cap like that. It's just because she does so much damage on these single targets that you're probably not going to have too much of an issue worrying about her damage. Like, look at the AoE. Even the AoE doing, you know, damage cap 296k, that's really good. Right, like, that's what we want to expect from these brand new festival characters. We want them to be doing, you know, all these extra, you know, damage caps and max damage whenever we can get it right. That's obviously, like, very, very important. So So yeah, right here I was like, okay, we don't have any Elizabeth cards here, so we can kind of stall. You know what I mean? We just kind of waste our cards here. Make sure that we have one of each color going into that next phase, because that's obviously going to be very important when we color cycle and then finish off the phase. So I was like, okay, let's just make sure we heal up here. We buff up with Margaret. And then we're just going to try and, you know, whittle the deer down from this point on. And we actually do get the kill right there with Sariel, and we move into the next phase. So this is a little bit risky, because if I didn't get a Margaret card here, we could actually been screwed. But I think I do top deck. Yeah, no, I top decked the Margaret buff card. So I was like, okay, with that, I can push up her ultimate, and then we can do the color cycle that way, right? So I waste the Elizabeth card first, and because when you use Elizabeth's card early, it doesn't actually start the color cycle. So if you can use her cards at the beginning, that's actually going to be a way you can kill the deer without having to do a color cycle on a phase like this, right? Because if you can see, Elizabeth does 376k, and it doesn't show red, green, or blue, or it doesn't even affect you, all right? Because you don't actually get debuffed, since it's technically not a color cycle phase until you start the color cycle, right? So right here I actually do have Margaret ultimate, and because of that we have the one of each color card, so we can actually move into the next floor just by triple ulting here, right? So we do, or double ulting and then attacking. So we do Margaret ultimate, we do the Sariel ultimate, right? We follow up with the Elat card, and then I go for the Margaret attack card at the very end there, and that's going to be a very easy kill right there, guys. So obviously, you know, the ultimates with everyone are going to do their damage caps, so like 380k from Margaret, and then 375 from Sariel. Elat's going to do her 140k, and then the AoE from Margaret's going to finish it off, and we can move into the next floor. So now I have to skip a little bit through in the video here, because we did actually take some L's, but moving into the floor 3, we did actually get a run where we actually did beat it, guys, but it was a little bit RNG reliant. But yeah, so we move into the floor 3 right here, and going into the floor 3, I'm like, okay, we definitely want to make sure we're wasting Elizabeth's cards, because again, you know, color cycle, it's very important to have the red, green, and blue cards over using or having Liz's cards, right? We don't want to have her cards, pretty much. We want to be wasting her cards as much as possible. So right there, as you guys can see, we do the double attack with her, just kind of waste them. We have 2 Goddess Ross as well, so that's going to help us when we actually deal damage with Liz. And right here, he goes for the attack steal on Margaret, but because she's at LAR, you know, she's not actually going to be touched at all, really, right? Because she, you know, has only debuff attack cards, which is really good. And also, I mean, Margaret has a cleanse regardless, so even if we were, you know, to get attacked stuff like that, I think we would be okay anyway, right? So yeah, right here, guys, we actually do get the Sariel buff right there, and actually do start just wasting all my cards here, just to make sure that we have one of each color for every character on the team. You guys can see that Sariel has his 1 power strike, we have the 1 attack with Elat, and then we also have the 1 attack with Margaret. And then I finish off the phase right there with Elizabeth, and we make sure we're full health going into that second phase. So we hop into the second phase here, and this is where we're gonna, you know, start the color cycling and dealing the damage that we can do, right? So right here, we actually do get a lot of merges with Liz, a lot of really strong cards with her, which is great, but we want to make sure we are color cycling first, right? So we do the green, red, or no, it is red, green, blue, right? And then I'm like, okay, let's follow up with Liz. That's fine. We're going to get corrosion because the debuff you get on floor 3 whenever you're attacking off color is going to be a corrosion debuff. And I was contemplating using a Sariel card there, but I was like, no, let's just attack with Liz, right? Because we want to be dealing damage here. That's the main idea. We want to be dealing damage. Even though we're going to get corrosion, we're still going to be completely fine, because regardless of how much HP we lose here, we're still going to be in a position where we are not taking damage anyway, and we can just move into the next phase with relative ease, right? So even though we get corrosion right there, we're only losing like 20% HP, not even that, like probably like you know, maybe like 15% HP, right? Like it's nothing crazy. It's just a little bit of chip damage that's gonna happen on us, but it's not gonna affect us to the point where like we're actually like losing the fight, right? So I think in a sense it was okay. But yeah, right here I'm like, okay, let's ult with Liz. Let's do the single target with Liz, and let's just move into the next phase, man. I'm ripping all the cards here just to get these out of my hand, and we make sure we have one of each color with each of the characters again, just because that's going to be very, very important, right? We want to have the color cycle just to make sure that we can use it whenever we need it, and holding on to each character like, you know, card is going to be very, very important for that. So now moving into the phase 3 here, guys, we are a little bit lower on HP again. As you guys can see, the corrosion starting to kick in, and we're losing a lot of HP. But the thing is, right, even with the amount of HP that we've lost, can the deer kill us? No, because, you know, he's not going to be dealing enough damage to even do that. So because the situation we're in, you know, I don't actually have to, you know, really heal up with Elat anyway. But if we were to get a heal card, I'm going to use it, obviously. But we don't need heals, right? that's not super important right now because of the situation that we're in. So I do single target right there with Sariel. We get the double crits right there to build up some Holy Relic stacks for some more basic stats. Very, very good stuff right there. We do top deck a heal card with Ela, which is good too, because then I can actually get the heal, and that's obviously going to benefit us a good chunk as well. But yeah, he's attacking Margaret because she's the lowest HP now and not actually Elat. So that does kind of affect us a little bit, but we are in a good position still. So I'm like, okay, let's buff up a Margaret. Let's do the heal ult. Or the heal card, and then we'll do AoE Sariel, and then use Sariel card because I have Sariel's ultimate to act as the red card going into that next phase anyway, right? I probably could have just like ripped Sariel ultimate there anyway, but I mean, it's okay to just hold on to it just because we want to build up the max stacks of Sariel anyway, just to make sure that going into that phase, we have the full 40% basic stats from his Holy Relic. Right, so yeah, right there, I mean, we anyway, we actually do top deck, you know, more cards with Sariel, which is good, you know, just having them. And then the AoE ultimate from the deer, not going to do a lot of damage, and even though it only did like 20k on each of us, we have like a ton of HP at this point where we're just not taking damage, right? So we drop the buff card with Margaret right there. We go for the single target with Elat. Double single target with Elat because we have the other attack, and I'm like, okay, let's all with Sariel now because we can actually use the AoE to act as our color cycle on the next phase. So I was like, okay, that's fine, right? We can just rip that, and Sariel will actually lifesteal a little bit of HP as well because when we kill the deer, the HP lifesteal, the debuff that he removes will actually be gone because he's dead, right? When he's dead, you can actually get, you know, a little bit of lifesteal when you get a kill with the character. So that's you know, a little bit of tech you guys can learn right there if you didn't know. Yeah, so right here, I'm like, okay, we're in a position where we don't have cards with Elizabeth. The only way we're really going to win this fight against the deer here is if we color cycle and then follow up for damage, right? Because we don't have a lot of damage. So I was like, okay, rank 3 Margaret is going to be what we're going to need to use. So we have to start with blue and then do the red, green, and then follow up with the rank 3 Margaret to make sure we get at least, you know, 30% of his HP gone, right? Like, that's going to be very, very important. So right here, as I'm doing the attacks right here, we do the color cycle, and then Margaret goes for the rank 3 AoE, and that's going to put him in that range where he's around like that 30%, right? That's a really good, you know, range of HP for where we can actually kill, and we actually do get Elizabeth top deck cards, which is great because that's what we needed to actually finish off this fight here. We needed at least 2 Elizabeth cards to do enough damage to finish it off. So right there, Sariel's taking a little bit of damage right there, guys. Nothing too crazy, but he's tanking, as you guys can see. This team has so much stats that like you literally will not die. Like, it's just super insane the amount of stats this team has, man. So like, I was like, okay, thinking about how I wanted to go about it, I was like, okay, let me AoE with Sariel instead, because I don't think it's going to do as much damage, and it'll allow us to get into a position where Elizabeth can actually kill with the single target. So we do AoE Sariel. It only does like, what, like almost 20% HP right there, and then Elizabeth's going to hit damage cap with her AoE, right? 305. Really, really good. And then follow up single target finishes off the deer guys with the 307k. Very, very good stuff right there, man. And that is the clear of the deer guys using the Queen Elizabeth. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, man, of the Queen Elizabeth on the deer. I think she was a very good option on the deer, but the problem is with, you know, light and dark characters, which I always tell people, is that you don't want to be using them on the deer because of the way they affect the color cycle. But if you can still run a setup like this and beat the deer without Jormungandr, that goes to show how strong Elizabeth can be, man. You know, having that extra damage that she provides is great, and you know, she's able to get just guaranteed damage cap when you need it. You know, whenever you have that Goddess Wrath fully maxed, you can hit that damage cap, boom, they're dead, and then you're good. So that's a really good thing about this Queen Elizabeth that I like a lot. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, man, what do you guys think about this Queen Elizabeth, and how did you guys think the team did on the Deer Demonic Beast battle? Hope you guys did enjoy the video, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always if you guys want to see more videos like this, and we'll see you guys in the next video, man. Peace out, and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.